Welcome to all of you BSc third year students in online lecture series of Fishery Science, Paper 12, Indian Commercial Fisheries and Mariculture. Indian Commercial Fisheries and Mariculture. In last two lectures, we are studying the first important commercial fishery, that is Indian Oil Sardine Fishery. The next part of this Indian Oil Sardine, which is we are studying in this period. In last period we have seen about the reproduction. In last period we have studied, we have seen. In reproduction we have studied various aspects, that is sexuality. Then we have studied size and age at first maturity. Then we have seen spawning. Then we have studied fecundity of this sardine or the Sardinia longiceps. Then we have studied sex ratio, and last point of last period, that is the age and growth. These sardine, these are to be grown in first year 155 to 170 mm. In second year it is to be grown up to 190 mm, and in third year it is to be grown up to 220 to 229 mm in length, or the size, these are to be increased, these are to be grown. Then the next important study point, that is the maturity stages. In both male sardine or in female sardine, which maturity stages, which developmental stages these are to be occur, which maturity stages these are to be found, and what is the OHA diameter measurement, what is the diameter of OHA, and nature of OHA and ovary. Nature of OHA and ovary, which is to be studied by number of workers, studied by number of investigators related to the maturity stages of the sardine. In sardine maturity stages, these are to be in all 7 stages, these are to be divided, these are to be studied. But some worker they can study 6 stages. In sardine, worker they can study overall 7 stages, these are to be studied, 7 stages which is to be we have studied here. The first stage, which is called as immature phase. Second stage, it is to be called as second A, developing virgin. Second A is to be again divided into A and B, that is developing virgin second A, second B spent resting, third maturing, fourth maturing, fifth mature, sixth ripe or running, and again seventh stage, it is to be divided into seventh A and seventh B. Seventh A partly spent and seventh B complete spent or the spent. These 7 maturity stages, these are to be occur in sardine fishery, in sardine male and female fish. Especially we have studied the OHA diameter, that is the size of OHA and ovary in female fish. In sardine or in female sardine, these 7 maturity stages, these are to be studied. 7 maturity stages, these are to be occur. First stage, then state of maturity is the immature. Nature of ovary and OHA is the ovary is small, ovary is to be very small, OHA not visible to the naked eye, OHA yolkless, OHA these are to be transparent, and ovary completely filled by the OHA, completely filled by the eggs or the ovum, and diameter of the OHA, diameter of the egg is to be 0.072, 0.13 mm in diameter. And these OHA, these range, that is diameter of range is to be how much? 0.072, 0.13 mm diameter of OHA, these are to be occur in first stage, that is the first maturity is immature. Ovary is to be small, 1/3 part of the ovary, these are to be occupied by ovary, body cavity of 1/3, these are to be occupied by ovary. Ovary, these are to be small, OHA, these are to be small, OHA not visible to the naked eye, OHA completely yolkless, and ovary and OHA, these are to be transparent ovary, completely filled by the OHA. Second A stage, which is to be again divided, second A and second B. Second A stage, developing virgin. Ovary is to be again more than 1/3 part of the body cavity. This ovary these are to be occupied. Ova these are to be transparent. Some ova these are to be opaque. In some ova these are to be presence of yolk sac or the yolk, and periphery of the ovary these are to be not visible, or periphery of the ova these are to be not visible, it is to be invisible. Whereas diameter of the ova which is to be reported by scientists, the diameter ranging between 0.15 to 0.18 mm, 0.15 to 0.18 mm diameter these are to be occurring virgin developing stage second A. Second B, spent resting stage. In this spent resting stage, ovary these are to be occupied half of the body cavity. Ovary these are to be strip like, straw like. Majority ova these are to be transparent. Some ova visible to the naked eye. These ova these are to be scattered, and ova these are to be opaque in nature. Ova these are to be opaque in nature. That is, ovary these are to be more than half part of the body cavity. These are to be occupied. Ovary these are to be strip like, wrinkled, and these ovary these are to be possesses majority of the transparent ova. Visible ova these are to be found, and these ova these are to be opaque in nature, opaque in condition, and diameter of ova is to be again 0.07 to 0.1 mm, 0.1 mm with few opaque ova. These ova these are to be larger in size, and these few opaque ova these are to be 0.15 mm, means bimodal type of eggs these are to be found. Bimodal type of egg these are to be occur in this second B stage, that is the spent resting stage. Third stage is called as maturing. Third stage is called as the maturing. Ovary these are to be increased 2/3 of the body cavity. 2/3 of the part of the body cavity these are to be occupied ovary. Size of the ovary these are to be increased. Ovary is to be turgid. It is to be flaccid. And in this ovary, turgid ovary, flaccid ovary, opaque ova with transparent eggs, or some ova these are to be opaque, and some ova these are to be transparent, and these ova, these eggs these are to be visible to the naked eye, and ovary these are to be turgid ovary which is to be found, which is to be occur in the third stage, that is the maturing stage. Most of the eggs these are to be bimodal. Larger size of the eggs these are to be 0.35 to 0.40 mm, and few ova or few minimum ova these are to be again few with maximum development. These few maximum development ova these are to be seen, these are to be found, which is to be 0.54 mm. Diameter of ova these are to be measured in the third stage, that is the maturing stage. Fourth stage is called as maturing stage. Again, ovary completely occupy the body cavity. Ovary full developed. Ovary these are to be full developed complete body cavity these are to be filled by ovary. Then ovary these are to be compact, bright yellow. Ovary these are to be compact ovary and bright yellow these are to be occur. These are to be found in the body cavity. Ova these are to be present in this ovary. These ova these are to be opaque. Some ova these are to be with or without transparent periphery. Some ova these are to be with or without transparent periphery, and trimodal type of egg these are to be found when diameter these are to be measured. When diameter these are to be studied or measured, these trimodal or sometimes bimodal types of egg these are to be occur. Largest eggs these are to be 0.67 mm, 0.67 mm. Then second type of egg these are to present in the ovary. These eggs these are to be 0.51 to 0.57 mm, 0.51 to 0.7 mm, and again small size of egg these are to be reported. These are to be 0.27 to 0.34 mm. Means such trimodal type of ova, or sometimes bimodal types of ova these are to be found. These are to be occur in the ovary, that is the fourth stage, maturing stage. Stage fifth, it is called as mature phase, or it is called as mature stage. Ovary completely mature, completely filled by body cavity. Completely these are to be occupied by the body cavity, Abdomen, these are to be turgid. Due to the development of eggs and ovary, these are to be orange yellow colored. Ovary, these are to be orange yellow colored. In maturing phase, fourth phase, ovary, these are to be bright yellow in color, whereas in mature phase, ovary, these are to be orange yellow color. Ovary, these are to be completely filled by eggs. Ova. In this ova are the eggs. Some ova, these are to be opaque, and some ova, these are to be larger size. These ova, these are to be with oil droplets. In the ova, in the egg, oil droplet, these are to present. Oil globule, these are to present. With this oil globules, these eggs, these are to be float. These are to be generally well developed, more developed. And diameter of ova is to be largest type of ovum egg. These are to be occur in the fifth stage. The size of the ova is to be 0.82 mm. Medium size of the ova is to be 0.6 to 0.7 mm. And small type of egg, these are to be reported. These are to be found. These are 0.35 to 0.45 mm. Means again, bimodal type of ova, these are to be found. These are to be occur in the mature stage, mature condition. Sixth phase is called as ripe or running stage. Sixth phase is called as ripe or running stage. Means ovary, these are to be completely developed. Full body cavity, these are to be occupied. Ovary, these are to be turgid, flaccid, and any time egg, these are to be oozes out. Any time egg, these are to be ready for discharging or ready for breeding. Ovary large. This ovary, these are to be cream colored, fully occupied. Ova with one or two oil globules. Oil globules, these are to be present in the egg or ova. Because these oil globules, these are to be important. These are to be used as a reserve food for egg at the time of fertilization. And with the help of these oil globules, egg can float on the water surface. Because for floating, these oil globules, these are to be decrease the weight of eggs. Again, the diameter of ova, these are to be measured, counted. The largest size of the egg which is to be measured is to be 1.2 mm. And medium type of egg, these are to be measured 0.81 to 0.90 mm. And small size of eggs, these are to be 0.45 to 0.51 mm. Means again, these three types of eggs, these are to be formed. These eggs, these are to be found in the ripe or running condition. Seventh B, again seventh stage is divided into seventh A and seventh B. Seventh A, partly spent. Ovary partly collapsed, slightly flaccid, ova opaque, greyish yolk with few oil globules in the center. Ovary, these are to be, ovary is to be partly collapsed, slightly flaccid, and in the ovary, ova, these are to be opaque. Greyish yolk is present. Few oil globules are present in the eggs for floating the eggs, and diameter of ova is to be largest ova. These are to be 0.6 mm. Single model in between 0.35 to 0.51 mm. Means again, those are large, well developed. They can ready for breeding. They can ready for spawning. But those are medium size and small size. They can wait for breeding. They can wait for discharging. That is the 7th A, partly spent, and last stage, 7th B stage. It is called as spent stage, completely empty stage. Completely ovary, these are to be empty. Completely ovary, these are to be flaccid. Ovary, these are to be discharged the eggs. Ovary, these are to be honey colored. Ovary, these are to be resorbing ova translucent. Yolk in small globules. Many oil droplets are present at the center, and these ovary, these are to be completely empty. Some ova, these are to be not deposited. Some ova, these are to be not liberated, or some ova, these are to be not bred by the fish. That ova, these are to present in the wall of ovary, and these are to be act as a atretic eggs, that is to act as atresia in the eggs, and the egg size is to be 0.47 mm, and majority of the eggs, these are to be 0.27 to 0.31 mm. Means again, those eggs, these are to be healthy, larger in size, these are to be deposited, these are to be shed, these are to be liberated, spawn, breed, and those are small in size. As it is, these are to be present in ovary, and these are to be act as food for ovary, and these are to be called as atretic eggs or the atresia, these are to be occur. and wrinkled condition of the ovary, these are to be seen, these are to be found in the 7th B stage, that is called as the spent stage. With these 7 stages, maturity stages of the sardine, which is we have studied, we have studied number of scientists, number of workers, they can study and they can put forth their opinion. That is 7 stages, these are to be reported: immature, developing virgin, second A, second B, spent resting, third maturing, fourth maturing, fifth mature, sixth ripe or running, seventh again, seventh A partly spent, and seventh B spent. With this maturity stages, just we have seen completed. Then last point of the sardine fishery, that is the fishing. Where these fishes, these are to be caught, where these sardine, these are to be captured. Fishing is to be done, fishing is to be important, or fishing is to be essential. It is the main part, it is the essential part. Oil sardine fishery exists as a commercially important regular fishery all along the west coast of India, but on east coast, these fisheries, these are to be sporadic in nature. It is highly irregular and no major importance, especially reference to Maharashtra. These fisheries, these are to be no major importance, but it is to be more maximum. In Kerala coast offer the richest waters for oil sardine. Kerala coast, in the Indian coastal regions, Kerala coast is the richest coast for the sardine fishery. Mysore coast rank only next to the Kerala coast. However, entire stretch from, that is Kerala to Mysore, that is Karnataka coast. Karnataka coast is the second coast and Kerala is the first coast. From thereafter, that is, however, the entire stretch of coastal water from Ratnagiri to Queenloan after lucrative fishing grounds, means that is Ratnagiri to Konkan area to the, these are the Queenloan areas. These fisheries, these are to be sporadic in nature. Minimum fishes, these are to be caught, these are to be captured. Fishing start in July following the commencement of the southwest monsoon. Fishing, these are to be start when? Fishing, these are to be start. Fishing, these are to be start in July following the commencement of the southwest monsoon, and landings are maximum during the period October to December. During October to December months, maximum sardine, these are to be caught, these are to be captured. Moderate sardine, these are to be caught, these are to be captured from January to March month, and poor sardine, these are to be caught, these are to be captured rest of the year. Means sardine, these are to be captured, sardine, these are to be caught in west coast. Maximum sardine, when these are to be captured, these are to be caught, these are to be captured maximum during the period October to December. Moderate from January to March, and the rest of the year, remaining months, a minimum or sporadic sardine, these are to be caught, these are to be captured in both, especially the west coast of India, and in east coast it is to be sporadic. The total catch of oil sardine constitute to the 30% of the Indian marine fish production in productive year. In, that is the annual moderate fish landing, these are to be caught, these are to be captured. When there is a good year, when there is a good year, depending upon the year was poor or good. When the good year for sardine, 30% fish, these are to be caught, these are to be captured. When bad year for sardine, just 1 to 5% of sardine, these are to be caught, these are to be captured from the west coast of India. The catches are composed of mostly juveniles in the size group of 12 to 15 centimeter. Those catches, those sardine, these are to be caught, captured. In this sardine catches, maximum fishes, these are of juvenile fishes. The size of the juvenile is 12 centimeter to 15 centimeter. During the peak period from October December, the sardine, these are to be caught, these are to be captured, these are to be 12 to 15 centimeter size, these are to be reported, these are to be studied. But the catches made during the post monsoon period from August October months, after the post monsoon period, catches, these are to be occur. Sardine, these are to be captured. In generally include large size individuals in advanced stages of maturity. Maximum size reported to 10 mm or 21 centimeter catches generally show the predominance of females. In some year or in the same year, the catches are composed of mostly 0 year group in the size range from 4 to 5 centimeter during the post monsoon period. The fishing is restricted within 50-meter coastal zone, coastal water. The craft which is to be employed, the craft which is to be used, or the nets which is to be used to capture the sardine in Kerala coast as well as in Karnataka coast. In Kerala coast, dugout canoes, the bigger dugout canoes is called as Odam and smaller dugout canoes is called as the Vanchi. Means Odam is the bigger and Vanchi is the smaller. These dugout canoes, these are to be used to capture the sardines, and on these dugout canoes, either these on the Odam and Vanchi, various types of nets, various types of gears these are to be used. These gear, these are to be either boat seine, these gear, these are to be smaller gill net, these are the drift net, these are the, that is the lift net, gill net, or the other varieties types of net, these are to be used in the Kerala coast to capture the sardine fishery. Whereas in Karnataka coast, to capture the sardine fishery, outrigger canoes, these are to be used on large scale, and these outrigger canoes, these are called as pandi, which is to be larger in size, and those are smaller in size. Outrigger canoes of larger size is called as pandi, and smaller size of outrigger canoes is called as the doni. Means to capture fishes from Karnataka state, that is doni or pandi, that is outrigger canoes, these are to be used, and on these outrigger canoes, various types of again nets these are to be used. That may be boat seines, that may be gill nets, that may be cast net, that may be drag net, or other different types of net these are to be used in Karnataka also. Shore seines, cast net, local names these are to be used, that is Odamwala, that is Nithawala, Nunnawala, Thanguwala, Matikoliwala, then Patankoliwala. All these nets these are to be, wala means nothing but the, those are to be operated, those are to be used the net to capture the sardine in local areas. Coromandel wala in Coromandel coast, Nunna wala in Nunna area, these are to be used. Thangu wala in Thanga area, these nets these are to be used. In Karnataka, the bigger shore seine is also used to capture the sardine, and this bigger shore seine net is called as the Rampani nets or the Rampan. This Rampani is to be famous to capture the sardine, especially in Karnataka coast, Karnataka area, and small Rampani net which is to be used to capture the sardine in Karnataka state, it is to be called as Yendi. These Yendi and Rampan, these are to be used to capture the sardine fishery from the Karnataka coast. The pearl seine has been introduced recently of Cochin area, especially by Indo-Norwegian project. This net, that is pearl seine, look like purse-like structure which is to be used to capture the fish of sardine. The total catch of oil sardine constitute 30% of the total annual marine fish landing, depending upon whether the year is to be good productive year or whether it is to be poor. When good productive year, it is to be 30% to the total marine fish landing, and when a poor year for the sardine, the production is to be 1%. The Kerala coast alone offers annual landing, it is to be from near about 37%. To the sardine capture, sardine fishes these are to be caught, these are to be captured from the Kerala coast, near about 4,000 tons. In the poor year, these are to be caught, these are to be captured, and in the productive year, these sardine fish these are to be caught, captured near about 90%, means near about 3 lakh metric ton fishes these are to be caught, these are to be captured, reported in 1968, which is to be reported from the Kerala coast. Means 1960 year is the more productive up to this year. It may seem that Kerala production is the highest production for the sardine, near about 80%. Karnataka ranking next to 80%. To the total sardine these are to be caught, means these two states, Kerala and Karnataka, contribute 98% of sardine, these are to be caught, these are to be captured, and remaining only 2% sardine, they can be captured, these can be captured from the rest of the Indian coastal water, that is east coast as well as the west coast, from the Maharashtra coast, from the Ratnagiri area as well as from the east coast, Bay of Bengal. In these areas, only 2% of the sardine these are to be caught, these are to be captured. For the sardine production, Kerala and Karnataka is the most important coast for production of the sardine. With this fishery these are to be studied. Up to here we have studied, that is fishery of sardine fishery. The next part which is to be we have seen, that is utilization. Due to increased demand for fresh fish from local and the interior market, to easy availability of ice and quick transport facilities, a good amount of oil sardine catch is to be used in fresh condition. When these are to be caught, these are to be captured in fresh condition. Good amount of sardine these are to be used as a food. But when landing, these are to be enormous. Maximum fishes these are to be caught, captured. Then it is highly perishable. Then greater part of this sardine these are to be preserved. Only a fabrication of the landings is to be consumed in fresh. Only a limited landing these are to be used as food. For preserved fish, these are to be curved, salted. Can may be consumed, that is canning, salting, these are to be done. Then fish guano, these are to be prepared. Fish meal are to be also prepared, as well as sardine oil. The most important is the sardine oil is to be prepared. That is, income from oil sardine is estimated at near about more than 50 crore rupees in recent years. Oil sardine undergoes decomposition very soon. Acidity these are to be gets and very fast. This restrict use of these fish, these are to be put as a fresh condition. Thereafter it can be perishable and it can be preserved either in canning, either in salting, or either it is to be deep freezing, or it is to be freeze dried, or sometimes of some quantity of fishes these are to be canned, or it is to be small proportion used in, that is different proportions. Sardines have been successfully canned in India. From the early years, the sardine is rich in oil sardine. History of its oil trade, different byproduct is prepared from the surplus quantity of oil sardine, and that's why that is sardine manure, sardine oil, sardine guano, then sardine large scale. All these different important byproduct they can prepare when sardine these are to be in surplus quantity. With this surplus quantity, sardine prepared. The most important interesting character of the sardine oil, two types of oil these are to be prepared. One is the pure oil and second is the impure oil. Pure oil is to be always a clear transparent color, and impure oil is to be yellow color oil. This yellow color oil these are to be impure. These two types of oil these are to be useful for coating the boats, coating the ships, as well in different industries. From the sardine, it is oil is to be prepared and it is most famous. Hence, it is called as the oil sardine, because from the body of this fish oil is to be extracted. Hence, it is called as Indian oil sardine, and that's why for extraction of the oil, this fish these are to be surplus quantity used, utilized in Indian region. Hence, this sardine fishery is most important, most commercial, and annually more than 50 crore rupees these are to be earned from the sardine fish and sardine byproduct. With this, we have completed sardine fishery. Again, we have seen, we have complete here. Then this is the sardine fish, sardine longiceps. This is the sardine fish, and we have seen that. Thank you for you.